Everybody? Poacher coming to you on March 30th, 2026. This is coming after the horrible defeat of the United States against Belgium, 5-2, and also a lot of other action that happened in these international friendlies over the weekend here. So recap this, and this is all leading up to the World Cup. So, as you know, we are, I think if I did my countdown correctly, I think we're roughly around like somewhere in like the lower 70 days from the World Cup. So, exciting time. This would be a lot in our videos coming up. Just saying that now here, right? So, cool. All right, so breaking it down, the United States suffered a 5-2 defeat over Belgium on Saturday. I think you can look at it in a couple different lights. So we can break it down, and I like to call it like in two segments. It'll be easiest, right? First half, second half, what to take from that, But granted, in all this we're talking about, right? It's the same thing how the United States beat Uruguay in one of the other previous windows is one, take with a grain of salt, right? It's a friendly, right? I think a lot of people have to understand that in friendlies, you use friendlies to one, evaluate talent, evaluate strategy, also fine-tune your team as you're about to go into the World Cup. So even if we beat Belgium 10-0, we lose 10-0, there's always something you could always take away from any match, right? And that's just saying that here, right now. Where it really matters is when the tournament play begins, which is going to be for the United States on June 12th in SoFi Stadium, right? So now if we go down to this friendly, we're breaking it down. I like to call first half, second half, because realistically, it was a tale of two halves. So you really break it down, right? I think the first half, I'll be honest with you, I had a hard time watching everything. And what I mean by that is like the jerseys look so similar on the television. It was kind of hard to tell which team is which the first few minutes. And then after that, kind of get an idea where we wanted to be with that coming up. So that made it easier to track, easier to look over as the game progressed, right? So first things first, I think the United States, if you look at the first half and just as a whole, I think you'll be satisfied with that performance, right? I think you look at it is they had the better chances in the first half. They had great link-up play when they needed to. Honestly, Weston McKennie should have scored twice. They were a little bit more dangerous than Belgium was outside of Doku, which that will be another segment we'll go into. But I feel like the United States, if you think about it, like the first half, like me personally, like at the half, I was like, you know what? They played as well, and I think 1-1 was deserving, right? I was hoping more for 2-1, but 1-1 was deserving, right? And that what leads up to like the goal. I think the goal, proved a couple things. Set pieces, we are getting a lot better at. I think we were tinkering and testing, not using Christian Pulisic on set pieces, and I think that end up might being a great thing for us long term. But that's something we can always adjust as like the games go along. Coming up. But I think Weston McKennie still in good form, right? You think about it, he scored a great goal on that corner kick. Same time, could have made it 2 with the previous chance he had. So I do feel like we were in a good spot. I think the only downturns I would say from this is Christian Pulisic. I think he's our best player. Like let's just put that to bed. He's our best player. We need our best player to play at his best for the team to be successful at the World Cup. Like without Christian Pulisic, this is not even a thing, right? So meaning what I say is like he has to play well, and he has to know he needs to play well. So what does that mean? Is like I think he tried too much to become hero ball a little bit, and I understand the pressure. You have a home soil World Cup coming to your shores. That for every single one of these players on this roster and majority of the fans, this might not happen again in our lifetime. And I understand like how much pressure you feel like you're on. Is that so much because people said you're the LeBron James of soccer? It's more that like, okay, you have a really big opportunity to make a legacy impact, not only on like the game itself, but for U.S. soccer, like fans and players for generations to come, right? And you think about it, like just retrospect, is if the team in 1994 did not succeed the way they did, it wouldn't spark the players like Landon Donovan to play and succeed. And he didn't succeed. It sparked other players to play soccer and succeed. So like I understand the pressure, and why I say this is like I think Christian Pulisic just needs to just be himself. Like don't overthink and just play with freedom a little bit more. I feel like it's just his whole year 2026. Like even some of the games I saw him play at Milan, I just felt like he just I don't know, maybe just put too much pressure on himself, and he shouldn't be doing that, right? It's a team game, and you want to try to get the more your teammates involved. And I feel like if he does understand that and plays to that, I think the team overall will be better. So, and then the second key thing on the goal given up, right? And this is where, like, and I say the goal given up, I mean, like, the first goal from Belgium right before the half, that was such a momentum killer. I think a lot of people don't understand that, like, when you give up a goal right before the half, right before you go in and re-strategize how you want to implement the second half, it becomes a huge thing. And I think that goal given up, at the time it got given up, and in the small way, the way it got given up, I think was kind of bled into the second half, and like this United States team never recovered from that. And I feel like you in World Cups you're gonna face adversity, man, and you can't handle adversity. We're not gonna get out of the group. Plain and simple, right? So I think on the goal, like that first goal, I think Matt Turner could have done a little bit better. You ask any goalkeeper, you don't try to block and punch out right on top of the 18 that someone can just tee it up. You're playing against world-class players. You push that up, you push that out. You don't push that towards the middle of the pitch. Granted, I will say this, though. I don't play goalkeeper in these high levels. So the pace of the ball coming through, I think it's hard on Matt Turner. But at the same time, like you think about the defenders in front of him, mainly Tim Ream could have had a better angle on that. But, like, you think about, and this is where we'll go into, like, in a second, goalkeeper's never been an issue for us. Like Tim Howard makes that save. Casey Keller makes that save. Brad Friedel makes that save. So that's where I think, and when that goal happened, it changed everything, right? Now you look at the second half, I think a couple bad things took place. One, I think Pochettino tested some things, and maybe you can say in one hand, maybe this is the right time to test this out. The other hand, it's like, why you're testing it now in this stage, right? I think for him, he wanted to test out some of his MLS talent to see if they can hang with the world-class players. And, you think about the subs that came in, Christian Roldan is a good example. Like, a lot of people would say, oh, Cardoso felt something. Okay, so why not put in Gio Reyna? Gio Reyna's playing in Europe. You could push McKennie back into the midfield fold, push Reyna up top, right? Even same thing. Like, I think Aris is on the roster. You can put him in as well, right? I think it's more like this MLS quota that we have right now, I'm not going to say it's killing the team, but it's definitely holding the team back. And you can ask any person who has followed this team and mainly world soccer in general, the best leagues are in Europe, the best competitions in Europe. And you want to get the best national team you could potentially have, you need to have the best players, and the best players playing in Europe. Like, I watch the MLS just as everybody else does, but let's be a realist here. The MLS players, the United States players, are holding this team back. Are they good players at MLS? Yes, because you see them play for other national teams. But you're talking about this United States national team and this United States national team's ambition. The MLS United States players are holding this back. And this has been true since 2014 when Jordan Morris decided to go to Seattle instead of going to Europe to go play. And if you disagree with me, put on the comments. I want to hear your opinion on that coming up. But I think in the second half, I think a couple things, right? MLS players. Same time, I think Pochettino kind of left Tim Weah on an island with Doku. Doku's a good player. And I think on a strategy perspective, when Chris Richards is not in the back three or back four, you can't afford that. If Chris Richards is there, then you could probably do a little bit better on the formation because he can handle his own territory, right? But I feel like if you don't have a world-class defender like Chris Richards there, or also have a Tyler Adams that can play into the six and pivot, you don't leave Tim Weah on an island. Or even if it's Serginho Dest, you don't leave him on an island with Doku. I think that was the second major mistake that was done. Second half, got exposed first 10 minutes. This game got out of hand really quickly. To be honest with you, I wouldn't really take much into the play like the 60th minute on because all these subs coming in and when you have multiple subs like this is more to play test out like player talent pool and that strategy on that. I think Ricardo Pepi came in too late. I think they should give him more of a runway. I felt like Gio Reyna came in way too late on that. So I think there's a lot of things that that Pochettino did not do well. And you could say it's a wake-up call. Thank goodness it happened now, right? If this would have happened on June 12th, we were in a lot of trouble, right? So I feel like in one way, yes, did it stink taking a beating like that? Sure. But did it may realize certain things or hopefully, the coaching staff realized certain things prior to the World Cup? Yeah, maybe this might be the best time. And let's see how the game against Portugal goes, right? And just touch base, Portugal did not have a good outing against Mexico. As much Mexico, I think for them, they got a confidence booster of not conceding in the Azteca, which, man, by the way, the Azteca, man, the renovations look fantastic. Personally, a semifinal should be at the Azteca. There is no question beyond that. I feel like it's kind of, in a way, like I understand like a lot of the games in the U.S., that's why they stuck to Dallas and Atlanta, but the Azteca has so much historical values, historical presence that it should deserve more, right? But that's my opinion, right, on that. But you think about Portugal, they tied against Mexico over the weekend, so I feel like Portugal is going to try to come out with a little bit more intensity against the United States tomorrow. So I feel like this is a game that like Pochettino should treat as a World Cup match, I would say, but that's just me, right? And of course, you go into like your last two friendlies before the World Cup begins, coming up in a few months. Up on that. Now, some updates here. Before logging off, is we got the European playoffs tomorrow. The big one, the United States is concerned, is going to be the Kosovo-Turkey matchup. I think Turkey, based on paper, Turkey should win this. Just based on my opinion, I thought from like when we got the draw from the beginning, Turkey was going to be the team that should get out of that group and that we should have in our group, and that would be our third game of the first round. With us, which that's not going to be an easy opponent. I feel like all three opponents we're going to have are going to require focus, are going to require great players and also great coaching tactics. So that's coming up. I think also like on Tuesday, I'll be excited to see if Italy can finally make the World Cup. There will be a place in candidates group to get in, and the likelihood, I think in Mexico's group, Denmark will be in there coming up. So that'll be kind of cool to watch tomorrow. Other I guess friendlies of the weekend, takeaways. Man, France looks good. They played against Brazil well. They played against Colombia really well. France looks really, really good. But at the same time, like I said, they're all friendlies, right? Friendlies, again, in the grand scheme of things, they don't really technically count, right? It's more about evaluation and, what's best for each of these squads coming up. Outside of that, coming up as lead up to the World Cup, I'll probably do some group breakdowns. On shorts, I think those are a little bit easier to master this time frame, day and age. But I'll have another video this week after the Portugal game, seeing how that goes. But outside of that, everybody, thanks for if you're still tuned in, comment, like, subscribe, all that good jazz. I also have a TikTok page as well, so hit that up too as I try to grow out the channel right on that. But outside of that, thanks for the time. And tomorrow, if you do watch some games, enjoy the games. And for the teams who do make the World Cup, there's a lot of great matchups coming up. First, congrats to anybody who's in those nations coming up. But tomorrow's be a fantastic football day. And break it down later on this week. Other than that, enjoy the games, everybody. Poacher out. Peace.